Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You're
All
audible.
right. All right, fine, thank you.
We'll be starting in next 2 to 3 minutes. We'll be starting.
No problem. One second. One second. Am I visible?
Yes, yes, you are visible, ma'am.
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Ma'am, we are going live and we'll be starting now. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the Beyond Education series being organized by Idym Group of Companies, a unique talk show with a tagline inspiring stories to inspire the world that invites people to share their success stories with the world. Today we have with us Dr. Sugandhi Narayanan, the principal of Ekiyatha Public School, Bangalore. I welcome you, ma'am, to the show. I'm pleased to share that we have successfully completed 1 month of the Beyond Education series, and 35 speakers have participated in it. The speakers were from different professions, educators, trainers, life coach, entrepreneurs. And of course, we had many speakers from India, but we had speakers from other countries also, like Indonesia, Malawi, Canada, Romania, Greece, Mexico, Italy, and few more to come. And before starting the interaction, let me take this opportunity to introduce our speaker, Dr. Sugandhi Narayanan. She started her career as assistant headmistress in Trichy, followed by an illustrious teaching career coupled with school administration as a coordinator, vice principal, and principal for 29 years in various schools in Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, and Bangalore. She has a flair for sports, being a sports person herself. She is a volleyball district player, inter-school level champion in shot put and discus, and a long jumper. That's so great, man. And she is also a teacher trainer, a social activist, secretary of SRA NGO, chief management officer of Harvest Educational Transformational Solutions, state council members of Women India Chamber of Commerce and Industry for Karnataka Training and Development Council, board of directors for International Journal of Bioscience and Technology. She has been the assistant center superintendent for national examinations like NEET. She is also the city coordinator for Bangalore for National Testing Agency NHRT, and she has won a number of awards in the field of leadership and education. Like some of them are Doctor of Letters by International Economics University for SAARC countries in 2018, Lifetime Achievement Award by DK International Research Foundation in 2018, Gem of India by Center for Educational Development Foundation Trust, and many more awards. So this was in short about our guest speaker and ma'am. So I think now we can start with the interaction and we will be knowing more about you, more about your life and career. So ma'am, because you are an educator, so why did you choose this profession? Who inspired you to be a teacher or an educator?
Thank you, Dr. Anjum, for this elaborate introduction of myself, and good evening to all of you present here, and also good morning to the people various across the globe. And first of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt thankfulness to Ravi ji for giving this opportunity to me. And so the question that you asked, what inspired or what made me to choose this teaching profession, is a very good question, I should say. So, first of all, I would like to tell that anyone, whoever is in this profession, would have chosen this only because of two reasons, either by choice or by chance. If you see, initially, I didn't even had the thought of getting into the education field at all. In fact, I wanted to become a lawyer. So that was simply because I've heard people telling me that when you speak logically, you speak to the point, and the argument that you give, counter argue with whatever the statement or the questions that we give, or any statement that you don't agree, the valid point that you keep to disagree. All these things, I think you should become a lawyer, is what right from my young age I had been listening from people. And so that got into my mind. And I really wanted only to become a lawyer. I didn't even had a wide thought of becoming a teacher. But then due to certain personal reasons, I couldn't become one. But then I might realize that when I speak to people, I was able to attract their attention. They were completely listening to me. In fact, I was able to converse with even small babies, 6 months old, my own niece. And sometimes I used to, sing all my science, math concepts in the form of a song and sing a lullaby to her. And she was completely listening to me. So, all these things, when I was thinking, I thought, why not become a teacher now and make a difference? And so, if you see, mine was by choice after that. Secondly, I had come across many teachers who had inspired me during my school days. Especially, I remember one history teacher. He used to teach us democracy in a different way. He used to tell democracy is of the people, for the people, by the people. At the same time, he used to tell us the difference between, he used to integrate English in that. And he used to tell that when it is of the people, it is not of the people, it is of the people. And he used to tell it's not for the people, for the people. So he used to tell us the difference between FOR and FAR, which a history teacher need not do it. By the people is not BY, it is BY. So he used to explain this. And that were what I thought when such teachers, when history has become a boredom subject, and when that teacher could teach us in such a way that we can integrate English and history when the theme didn't come into the picture at all earlier when I was doing my school days. That was when I thought, okay, I should make a difference and become a teacher. And that's why I chose this career.
Yeah, wonderful, ma'am. And so you became a teacher, and you started your career as a vice headmistress, and then you have been to different schools like vice principal, coordinator, and now you are a principal. So, how was your career, and how you could become successful in attaining this from a vice headmistress to the principal?
See, instead of being from assistant headmistress, I think I should start my career right from my first job, which I had taken it up, which I took it in Trichy. Initially, as soon as my graduation, I had taken up a school. It was a very small school, and so I was the head in charge as well. Though I was a maths teacher, I was head in charge of that school. I was taking care of other logistics, in fact, because I was staying close to that school. And then from there, from Tamil Nadu, we moved to Pondicherry. And there I was appointed as the pre-primary teacher there. The very next year, I was appointed as the nursery head over, wherein I was heading around 13 sections of pre primary with 610 children with 14 teachers. So from there, I had taken up, until then, I was just a graduation. Then I did my post graduation. From there, then we moved to Pondicherry. There, I was taking care of again the pre primary. From there, I had moved into Bangalore. Before getting into Bangalore, when I was made as the head of the pre primary section, I thought when a person is heading, we need to qualify, right? I was just a postgraduate. So, what I did was I had enrolled myself in DCA, Diploma in Child Education, and I had topped the state. I'm a gold medalist in that. Then from there, when we moved to Bangalore, again, I joined a school, an ICSE school called Mount Sonoria, and there I was the pre primary teacher. I was taking care of the UKG sections. During that period, in a 1 week, one of the maths teacher, she had gone on leave under a medical emergency. So that was the time I started taking math for the middle school students in her absence as a substitute teacher. This was observed by the principal and the management. And so from pre primary, I was shifted to primary all of a sudden. And since I was handling Julie Caesar for my son, he was doing his 10th standard in ICC board, and there was a subject called Julie Caesar drama, which I had in my college as an allied subject. So I was teaching that, and I used to teach that for these 10th standard students in that evening extra coaching classes, which we used to give. So slowly I was made to take the primary subjects. So then I thought, when I am taking the primary, then I have to equip myself So I did my B.Ed there. From there, I moved to an international school for my higher opportunity. I moved, and there I was appointed as the coordinator for academics and admin. Now, when I am taking care of administration, I have to qualify. So I did my MBA in education. So then from there, I moved to the various schools as the secondary coordinator. Then I moved as the vice principal. In one fine morning, I received a call from one of the new startup school, which was referred by my ex-principal, and they had received my profile and they called me, and now I'm in this position. So I started my career from the nursery teacher, and now I'm in the principal's position.
Yeah, that's really great seeing your career growth. And ma'am, when you have like right from the pre-primary section to the principal of the school, so you must have certainly faced some challenges, some kind of obstacles in your career. So what were those obstacles?
Yeah, see, if you see obstacles, I think I had these obstacles right from my school days. If you see, not only in the career. See, I started, when I was in 10th. All of a sudden, my board exam was going on, and all of a sudden, one evening, when I was preparing myself for the history exam, that was the last two exams. When I was preparing, I saw my dad coming with all sweats all over the body, and suddenly I could understand that it was an heart attack. And so we took him to the hospital. There we came to know that he had a tube blockage and that has to be removed. And during that time, I'm talking about in 83s, if you see this removal of the wall blockage was only done in Vijay Hospital in Chennai. And we were in Trichy and we couldn't move because in this condition, we couldn't even transform him to there, transfer that. That's the reason what happened. We had to admit in the hospital, which we had, and whole night I was staying there with the books open, but nothing could enter my brain. And next day morning, he told me that my dad was okay. He said, "Okay, you go home, get tomorrow's geography book, and come back." But then by evening, I got the news that he was no more. So in this situation, I had Lord. That was the first obstacle I ever had in my career, in my life, I should say. I was completely blank, didn't know what to do, couldn't focus on the studies. With how the relatives will react when the head bread earner of the family is no more. And that time it was what I realized that unless and until we equip ourselves or we we are focused in what we need to do, nobody can help us out. And that is where those things, those strong struggles, that made me even more stronger than what I am today. And so I always add, so if you have to be unique, if you have to um, move forward, improve yourself, you have to be little unique, you have to be different. How can I be different from others is what the thought that came in my mind. And always one statement was in my focus, that the statement of Shiv Keras: winners don't do different things, they do things differently. That was always there. And I wanted to be that different person. And if you see, that is my biggest obstacle, I can say. That's because I don't like people pointing out to me saying that, oh, this person cannot do this job. This job you have to allocate somebody else. This is the low profile skilled job you can give to this person. I don't like to be pointed out as a low performer. And so if you see, even my ex-principal, Dr. Dakshayani Khanna, who was the principal of Harvard International School, she used to tell, any work given to Suganti, you can forget it, she will complete. So when you set a bar, you cannot go below the standard. And so what happens is, we become obstacles to ourselves. We become the barrier for ourselves, and we become a competitor for ourselves. Sometimes in life, you have to let go. But when you're not able to let go, that itself becomes a big barrier for you. So when you set up a bar, you're forced to compete yourself and move ahead. So other than that, I feel I had to be honest enough. I had a very good set of people, a very good mentors I had, and all my colleagues were very sweet and they had helped me in growing myself. So the biggest challenge, if you see, it is only me for myself.
That was really great answer, ma'am. That we ourselves, that our thoughts sometimes become and yes, you have a rich experience of 29 years. So you must be knowing very well that the teaching profession has been changing. The requirements of a teacher, the skills of a teacher has been changing. So according to the present scenario, what are those skills that teachers should be having?
See, learning, if you see, it continues from the womb to the tomb. And if you see, the teachers are the torch bearers of this journey, right? They influence the young minds and they help them to achieve the brilliance. They also help them realize their true potential. If you see a good teacher, she always shapes and the future citizens and inspire them to recognize their abilities. Now, in this situation, in this current scenario, where we had this COVID had given us a very big lesson. The very big lesson that COVID has given us that positive is not positive always. The positive can give a negative impact to us, is what COVID has recently. So, in this situation where, as teaching professions, we have switched from the offline classes to online classes, come what may, whether you have offline, online, hybrid, whatever classes, there are certain skills that the teachers have to possess. And the first and the foremost skill, what I feel, is the communication skill. Because teaching involves only the communicating knowledge part, right? A teacher transfers knowledge to her students by using various modes of communications. When we say various modes, it can be verbal, non-verbal, with the parents, with the teachers, with the staffs, everywhere. So, if you see, the most essential teaching skill is the ability to communicate and make yourself heard in the crowd. When there are 40 children or 35 children, when you speak, your voice should be beyond the voice that comes from the 30 children. So, for which you need to have a good body language, you should have clarity of voice, you should be able to listen and reciprocate, and also you should have a better written communication in case if you have to communicate with the parents and it. So, this is first and foremost. The second one is the knowledge of the subject. Whether you are a primary teacher, you are a pre primary teacher, postgraduate teacher, middle school teacher, high school teacher, higher secondary teacher, anything that your specialization is the primary teaching skill. Once you have full authority in your domain and continuously upgrade your knowledge as per the curriculum, then there is nothing that can hold you back from becoming a very effective educator. This is one thing. And not only that, if you see this unparalleled subject matter proficiency, with what we call as, is the backbone of teaching career. And that will help you to simplify the topics that you need to take to your class. It will inculcate the habit of asking questions. It will also solve the student's query, and it will also build innovative teaching strategy. So this is the second. The third skill that I feel is the critical thinking skill. If you see, as a teacher, you will face diverse students and a variety of situations. It is seen that managing such circumstances becomes challenging for anyone for that way. You might be a teacher for 29 years, 30 years, but you will not know what kind of students or what kind of mentality the students will have the next day. In fact, most of my, those children, the doubts they had was never in my lesson plans. We have to all of a sudden think over it. On a daily basis, the teacher has to face the conflict among the students they have. She needs to face the disagreements the students they have, the chaos, and the mischiefs. You will see, I had most of the students, I had seen n number of batches, and there were students who were very notorious, but very sweet at heart. They were mischievous, but at the same time, they had a soft corner. So you cannot, merge these two together. When they are mischievous, we have to handle them differently. When we know that they are really very sweet at heart, we have to handle them in a different mood. So when you have these critical thinking skills, then it will help you to know your learners. It will help you to analyze the students' behavior. It will help you to observe the body language. A child in my class was sitting very quietly. And the child is a very quiet child. But on that particular day, I found that the child was quite beyond what she was supposed to be. So when I went and asked her, she said that her mom was in the hospital. And so she didn't bring lunch. So unless and until you observe the body language and know what they are, you cannot understand them in a better way. So this, when you have this critical thinking skill, no, it will help you to make quick decisions. So, and it will also help you in setting your own goals for them. So this critical thinking is very essential. The next important one is creative skills. So the biggest hurdle, if you see in teaching, is distracted students. If you see any class, we have only 40 minutes. 10 minutes for the recap of the previous day, 20 minutes of new concept, and 10 minutes of your summary. Because their attention span is not beyond 20 minutes. In that 20 minutes, if you're not creative, you cannot grab their attentions. Only fresh ideas has the power to rope in the children's interest. So apart from critical thinking, if you see, you really need to be very creative. As I told, I used to take up, I was handling ninth and 10th students. All of a sudden, the children will come and say, ma'am, we are feeling very bored. I said, okay, come on, let's have an energizer. And then I used to sing a nursery rhyme for them. Since being a nursery teacher, I could still remember those rhymes. We used to sing one rhymes for them. And then I told them, this answer, you will make it in this song and bring it tomorrow. So that will be your starting 10 minutes recap of the lessons. So they were all happy. And one day they used to tell me, we are very bored. I said, okay, you listen and answer my questions. End of 5 minutes, I will tell you a ghost story. I said, okay. So somewhere or the other, you have to create. If students have not understood, which means we haven't taught properly. That's what I come to a conclusion. Otherwise, entire set of students cannot be without learning. Because everywhere teaching happens, the learning happens. It's really a question that we have to ask ourselves as teachers. So this is what is my next skill, motivational skill. So apart from all these things, whether you be a subject expert, you be a teacher's role, you mentor them, you guide them, you do anything, but this motivation is not there, then it is very difficult to handle, especially the adolescents children. You don't know how their mood swing will be. At least the smaller children, you can teach them. When you handle the teenagers, it is really tough. So you have to motivate self motivation, and also you have to motivate the students. And whatever your subject knowledge, communication you have, unless and until you have that ability to teach, all our knowledge goes to the bit. So, as a teacher, one should be so enthusiastic enough to teach. So, this enthusiasm, it will give rise to the teaching abilities as well. And since there is no one shoes, you cannot have one shoes that can fit everyone. Everyone is different. Like how you cannot wear your summer clothes during winter, winter clothes wearing in summer. You cannot have a prescribed one lesson plan for the entire set of students. You have to keep changing it. That ability to teach, when you are having two sets of students, you will have students who are little slow in learning, and you will have children hyper knowledge, wherein sometimes we have to Google it to answer their questions. When you have these set of students, it is for you to get that ability to keep a few sets in stores for these people. So that is very important. And other thing is that organizational skills. And today, as a professional teacher, if you don't have this skill of getting organized yourself, you're developing your lesson plans, scheduling lessons, maintaining classroom harmony, efficient record keeping, time management, class management, effective teaching, everything comes as planned how you have to. So organizational skill is even more important. And then coming to us as the last one is the collaborative skill. So this, if you see, it is like, you have to manage the students, you have to communicate with the fellow men, you have to help students with their difficulties, you have to solve the problems, you have to smoothly impart the knowledge. So thoroughly managing and balancing these tasks, it demands for a very good collaboration and management skills. and the time management as well. So I feel these are, and I forgot to tell one more thing is that adaptability, the ability to adapt. So survival of the fittest, we say. So I don't say this as a survival of the fittest because you see now this COVID, I started with that only. We had offline classes, online classes. Then it was made, and we had all become tech savvy. Initially, even the government school teachers they were not used to computers. Now they started taking online classes with one button in the phones with their hand. These are what is required. So that change is very much required. And overall, last the passion that you have, that you need to become as a teacher. Because earlier, if you see, when you see most of the homemakers, they used to take up the teaching job, just one reason that time, vacations, these are the things it was. But now it is not so. The corporate, at least they can log off and come home. We still have evening. We'll be getting a call from the parents. What happened? What is the homework? You are 24 bar 7 now teachers. So that passion, if you don't have, that commitment you don't have, you cannot be a teacher. That is even more important. That tops in my list.
Yeah, yeah, ma'am. And those are sentence that 24/7 we are working. We have to work even after we come back. Like if we come back, like I come back at 5 o'clock. So after that, I have at least some 2 to 3 calls.
Yes.
Sometimes even more than that. But we have to attend. We have to answer the queries of the students. We have to be like round the clock. We are working. And now, yes, like you are also a sports person. You are like a state level volleyball player and district level volleyball player, I think, and also champion for shot put and discus. So, how was your experience as a sports person in school?
See, you should say that I was an outstanding student. A real meaning of that. I was always outside the classroom. I was never ever inside the classroom. So all my English teacher, they used to sarcastically say that Sugandhi is an outstanding student because I never was inside the classroom. I either used to go for my dance practice because I studied in Kendra Vidyalaya and we used to have a lot of events coming every now and then. So I was the lead singer for the invocation song. I was a Bharatanatyam dancer, so I was always there for one dance. Apart from the sports, and I was a very average student, to be honest enough. I don't mind telling this because though, but I can adapt myself, as I said, and that's the reason I did all my graduation so far. In fact, now I'm doing my MA history because earlier I have done my MA economics, and I came to know that off late that I cannot. I was going for evaluation for 10th standard, but off late if I don't hold a degree in that discipline that I am teaching, I cannot go for evaluation. So I'm doing my MA history now, the double MA history. I have done all these things. I'm just doing, and I'm planning to enroll myself for the Montessori training also because when I'm holding a principal position, and if there is a parent who comes and asks, ma'am, what do you mean by Montessori and kindergarten? I should be able to say, I cannot call a Montessori teacher for that when I'm talking to parents when they come for the inquiry for admission. So I'm planning to enroll myself for that. So a never ending learner. But in my school days, if you see, I was a very average student. I never ever had that opportunity. Maybe my flow was only outside the classrooms. So I was, a long jumper. I was a short put uh, discus champion in the school level. And I was a volleyball player. I was a kabaddi player. I didn't mention that because I was not a very frontline player, but I was a kabaddi player and I was substitute in the hockey team as well. So they used to call me Kichadi in my school. You can place her wherever you want. You can place her in dance, you can place her in song, singing, you can place her in sports, anywhere. She will grab some prize and come. So that was what it was. And one thing that I would love to say that when children play, we always hold them inside. We feel that if they go to play, they become tired, they won't be able to study. This is a totally wrong conception what people have. The more you play, you will be able to focus more on the studies. So I enjoyed thoroughly my sports days. Those days were golden era in my period, and that's what I can say.
Yeah, that's just wonderful, ma'am. And like I was just listening, you just mentioned about sports, but you also mentioned about singing and dancing. You're an all-round person, and let me just share some of your experience so that again a very mindful inspiring stories. We are bringing up one after the other, so many success stories, so many inspiring stories, one after the other. And because you were involved with sports and also other activities like singing and dancing, so I think the next question that I should ask you is why should we encourage the students to go for sports and at the school level, being a principal? So, what do you think? How can you encourage students to go for sports, to go for other activities like singing and dancing?
See, as I said, I told this earlier itself on my the previous questions. Sports it develop the physical as well as the mental strength in students. No doubt about it. And daily physical exercise is very much essential for students. That is because exercise not only helps the students in physical fitness, it also helps to improve their emotional fitness. Those who are having a hands-on play, they learn a lot. Their team spirit they learn how to forego and take forward they learn. In fact, today in the Teachers' Day, I had conducted you know, one event, one activity for the teachers. So, Dr. Anjum, can I ask you one question? Have you heard about musical chair? I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
I'm audible?
Yeah, yeah, you're audible.
Yeah.
Have you heard of musical chair?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Can you please tell me how it is being played?
Yeah, it's like a music which goes on, and everyone will be. The chairs are placed in a circle, and as the
Hmm?
music stops, everyone will try to occupy the chair, and those who are not able to occupy it will be out of the competition, and it goes on till we get the winner.
Yeah. Yes. So what we do is when we place there around 15 students and 14 chairs, and then they play. When the music stops, one stand alone, rest all sit, and we remove one more chair and we remove that chair. So what are we trying to teach the students there? In order you to go forward, in order to you win, you have to remove other chairs. You have to remove others. Is that what we are teaching them? So what I had done is in this Teachers' Day, I had conducted one musical chair event for the teachers, and I said that this time it is going to be the reverse. There will be 15 teachers, 14 chairs will be placed. When the music stops, all the 15 have to fit in that 14 chairs. Only then you are the winners. If one stand, except that one, the rest who are sitting are out, is what I said. So earlier, if you see, people were moving to grab the chair. Now they're grabbing the people and making them sit on their lap. So otherwise they become out. So the next round, 12 chairs, 15 teachers, they sat. 10 chairs, 15 teachers, they sat. 5 chairs, 15 teachers, somewhere they made. It was one chair, 15 teachers. Here and there, they were grabbing, they were hugging, they were holding somewhere, but all the 15 were able to fit in that one chair. So here, from exclusion, we are teaching them inclusion. What we say, if at all you have to win, you have to make others win. This team spirit has to come. So if you see, when you have these sports, there is a healthy competition, no doubt about it. But then what happens is this plays a major part in the school curriculum. Because if students stay emotionally and physically healthy, they can easily focus on their studies. And not only that, students, when they have to participate in school sports, it increases their confidence level, it increases their mental alertness, it gives space for their self-esteem. It also helps them to teach various skills like leadership. When somebody is the leader or the head of that house, he takes up the role, making his housemates to come forward, making him to win, coordinate with others, how to give practice to him. He tried to teach the skills that he has. And you have the patience. You have to wait for your turn. If at all you have to excel. We are teaching them patience. You have to stand in a line. You cannot push others. We teach them discipline. All these things, your social skills, your social life skills, everything is being taught through sports. And so that is how we have to have sports in the school level, is what is my personal thing. And not only that, if at all you make them understand the benefits of being a sports person, what all the benefits in future you get good seats in a good college, you get placement in a good corporate companies, even get a government job. Then you keep telling them the perks that they receive for the hard work they are doing, definitely they will try to get into it.
Yes, that was wonderful, ma'am. And like you were telling in the previous questions, when I asked, you told about some of the skills, like creative skills, motivational skills. So this was like a musical chair played in a different way. But that is adorable, ma'am. That's really very good, and something that was, I think, new that I learned today, and I will surely try to implement it. And yes, ma'am, you are also social activities, that is another part of your life. So you are, yes, you are associated with Sarjapura Residents Welfare Association. So what
Yes.
kind of work do you do through this organization?
See, I stay in a place called Shajapur in Bangalore. And in and around the Sarjapur area, around 7 to 8 kilometers in radius, if you see, there are around 170 projects like apartments, villas, and all these things. So there are two members in each apartment who forms a group called SRW, and I'm the treasurer in that. And what we do is we try to get into all the problems that the residents of Shajapur have, and we try to solve it. This is the personal things out of the way we go and do. Now, you see, there is a place called Domasandra here, which was a small junction. And due to a lot of traffic's bus, it's a school zone. So they had to, widen the road. While they were widening the road, they had to remove trees that were 30 years old. So, which we were feeling very bad because Bangalore itself is called the garden city. And we are removing all the gardens from the city. Then what can we call them? So, what we did is we had posted in the group and requested the residents to contribute some amount, whatever they can. We had spent around 7 lakhs and we had replanted that tree with the experts' knowledge. The tree is still alive now. So we have done that is one activity we take up. We take up lots of awareness programs. We do the medical checkup. We call the people from the low profile area and we call them. We give them the medical checkup and we set up medical checkups in various apartments for others to have this one. We take up Kannada classes because if you see in Bangalore, the Kannada speaking people are much lesser than the non-Kannadigas. But when you are in a Karnataka, you have to know the local language. Only then you will understand the heritage and culture of it. At least we need to speak. The place where we stay, the place which is giving us the bread, I think we have to respect that and we have to learn the local language. So we organize Kannada speaking classes for the in each apartment so that the residents over here can at least speak Kannada. That we do it. And there are around 64 lakes around Shajapur, which is deteriorating. So we have taken up the lake revival program and we are trying to revive the lakes and make this place as a tourism that we are doing one. During the COVID time, we had arranged oxygen beds for the people who need it. And also, we came to know from families that when the entire family is affected by COVID, how will they get food? The hotel food may not be that good enough to eat for. So we, a few residents, we had organized, we had formed a WhatsApp group, and we had spread across in every apartment that we will provide for 3 days the meal, three meal for the entirely affected family, not one or two. The entire family is affected. There is no one to cook. So we were doing, so we used to say, get the information, this family, this address, they are not keeping well. So one will take for the lunch, one will take for the breakfast, and I used to cook for dinner, and we used to organize. There were one vendor, the medical lab person who was ready to deliver the food. So we had taken those things. And also one important things which we came to know, that people, they give very importance to the parliamentary election. They don't give importance to the panchayati election. But when there is no light on the roads, when there is no roads, it's only the panchayati people who will come and do. Parliamentary people will not come. So we had taken a campaign rally across Shajapur to make them aware that this election is also as important as this. So these are the few activities we were doing.
Super, ma'am. Super. You have to do actually a number of activities, awareness, health camps, and like reviving the lake. So that is really, really great to know. And you have also
And we
mentioned,
also,
yeah, ma'am.
sorry, we also has art and cultural program. So children didn't know what else to do. So we conducted an online art competition for them. We conducted for the homemakers, for the women's at home. They were all feeling bad. They just called me once and said, "We are feeling bored. The same TV, what to do? We are not getting socializing." I said, "Okay, come on." So we are organized one singing competition, online singing competition. So we had three judges who had come online only. And then the prices were delivered to their house. We had given it to the security and asked them to supply to them. So we had done this cultural activities as well.
Super number of activities, in fact, different activities. Most of the time, what they do is they concentrate on a particular topic, like, okay, only awareness or only cultural. So you have been doing a lot, many things. And you have also mentioned about one more NGO. I think you are the
Ah,
secretary of
sorry.
Asari. Yes, ma'am. What is that NGO about? How do you work with
Okay,
it?
see, this is the SRW, the residence here, and I'm also part of this NGO, which is ASRA, is a non-governmental organization, which was established in 2012 under the guidance of Ms. Leelavati. So this operates in Karnataka, and the headquarters is in Davangere in Karnataka. So the organization main focus is, for the aged and elderly people, often what we can do for them, for the children, for the self-employment of ladies, what we can do. We had taken tailoring, handicraft, beauty parlor courses, and then we had set up, given them how to start the basic amenities we had given for them to stand. The Dalit welfare we had taken because we found in one area where they were being treated very poorly. And so this Miss Leelavati is also a lawyer by profession. So we had gone there, we had solved the disputes, and we had seen children with disability. So they didn't have the literacy. So we try to give, call the teachers, pull in the teachers to give some training to them, the basic knowledge on education, food and agriculture, legal awareness. That was one thing that we came to know, that ladies, they didn't know what their rights are in a very underprivileged area. So we had given them the basic law, um, what they can, what they don't need to listen to. They can voice out for certain things. They don't need to keep quiet. So we had given that awareness to the ladies also. And also, we had taken a lot of that Kasuti works. We used to train them with that mirror work and everything. And there is something called a global market. So we get it and we sell it and give that money to them. So we had, and then we allow them to take up their own personal self-employment. So these are the ones we did. And during this COVID time, if you see, we used to receive calls from orphanage, elderly home, old age home. And they said that they didn't even have any groceries. So we told them that we will not give money. But then we had distributed around 1,000 bags, kgs of rice to various organizations who couldn't run the show because of COVID. So those things we had helped. And we had taken the awareness program, the sanitizing program for the ladies in rural area. They were still not using the sanitary pads. And because of what are the impact they get, what are the health issues they get. So we had provided for first 3 months, and then we told them that you get in a lesser price in all these medical things. And so those things they were not aware. So we had gone, and after 3 months, we went to check whether they are really getting into it, or do they still need awareness. So these are the few things that we did in nursery.
That's wonderful, ma'am. Really, you have been doing an amazing work. And what I like the most, where you said you're working on awareness about different things, and also providing training. Because somewhere, most of the social organizations, they just see that you just go and donate something, you donate some money, you donate some fruits or groceries, and yes, there are a lot many pictures on the social media and their social work is done. But actually, we should be helping people so that they become self-sufficient, they become independent enough to earn for themselves. And that's what you have been doing, like
Yeah,
giving
that's
them.
because it's just like you give a fish, they eat for a day. You teach them
Yeah.
fishing, they can eat for the whole life.
For whole
That's
her
what we
life.
try
Yeah,
to do.
that's what you have been doing, and that's really great. Because somewhere even I don't believe, because I was also associated with organizations, so somewhere, and there were a lot of clashes because of this, which I had to face. But even I believe in the same thing. We should not be just going and donating and clicking pictures. We should be doing something to make a difference in the society. And yes, ma'am, and yes, you're also the Chief Management Officer of Harvest Educational Transformation Solution. Now, ma'am,
Yes.
what is
Okay. Harvest Education Transformation Solution is headed by Dr. Aruna Vatkar. And so I'm part of that heads. And we take up training for the teachers, we take up training for the students. Sometimes even we take the corporate training when they ask us. And we mainly focus on the communication skills, their presentation and business communication skills, their interpersonal skills, team skills, then personal effectiveness, and the cross cultural skills. They have English language skills. They have, most of them, they are all B's. We have seen the B students who are working in corporate, but they are not able to communicate in English in a better way. So we try to train those corporates how they have to communicate, because that is very much important. Now, though we say Hindi is the national language, English has become the universal language. So you have to compete, you have to converse with that. So then there are many people who are finding it difficult. So we had taken those kinds of training, counseling programs we had taken, small corporate trainings we do it, handwriting courses we take up. So these are the small activities we do in Harvest Education Transformation Solutions.
yeah, ma'am. Again, like another kind of activity. Like, ma'am, like how do you manage time to do all those things?
See, that is because one thing is that my I have older son, so not much. I come home, I finish. I don't keep my personal time for long. I feel that my personal time, I find me time, happy time when doing all these things. So one thing is that I'm today as a principal. I'm holding so many degrees. It's all the society that has given to us. So, and you said that I have got various awards. These awards, the moment I hold one, I don't consider as an ornament. I feel that there is an additional responsibility in my head. So the society has done so much to you. In return, what are you going to give? What are you going to do? You have knowledge. You have taken so much of degrees. You have done so much. In return, what are you going to go? I cannot gain a name of Mahatma Gandhi, but there should be some meaning for my birth. At least, though the nation is not knowing, at least in and around my me should know what I have done. That can be an inspiring to others. When people joining, you can do multiple things. That will cover the major portion of the nation to get better. So that is what is in my mind. So I create time.
Yes, of course, you
Yes,
are creating time, and and because of that, you have been doing so many things at a time. And you said success, it should be continuous. You shouldn't be stopping. Yes, I got an award, I got a degree, and I should stop it. That shouldn't ever
yeah,
happen. It should be continuous.
exactly.
And yes, because of course you have a lot of awards, but I would just like to ask some of it. Like, firstly, the Doctor of Letters by International Economic University for SAARC countries. Now, what was that about?
The Doctor of Letters is the highest award an education field can give to an educator. The all others, we get Bharat Ratna, all those things we get. But in an education field can give to an educationist is this the highest award that can be given. So I don't know how this person, the team got my profile. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. So one fine morning, I got a call saying that, "Ma'am, we are giving you Doctor of Letters." I was taken aback. I said, I thought, okay, maybe somebody is doing a prank. So because that has become now, after seeing this social media, people start pranking others. So that is what I was. Then I asked, "Who are you? How did you get me?" Because at one side I was happy, another side I was thinking, "How come my profile is being circulated?" Where all is it going? Is it being going to be used in a good way or a bad way? That was there in my mind. And then these people told me that they had conducted a survey, and in survey, when they met the top principals, there I worked under a few people, and they were also there, and unanimously all those principals had referred my name. So that is what I came to know. And so then they gave me this Doctor of Letters, and that was the first award I got, and which I was feeling very happy to hold it in my hand. At the same time, as I said, another one side, I was having a feeling now, having got this, what more I have to do. So the society was there in my mind. But of course, it was a great feel when I got this. And there was also another one which is close to my heart is the Gem of India, which was given by, Center for Educational Development, Dr. Priyadashi Nayak. So he had his secretary or the person who was there. She had called me one fine day, and ma'am, this is happening in Mumbai. You have to come and collect it. And it was so exciting that these two are close to my heart. And there is one more, if you have seen, COVID Warrior was one of the award I received. And that is something very, very important in my life because when COVID, we were not very sure whether we are going to survive or not. In that situation, when we could do a small proportion to the society and the society recognized that and gave me that award, I was really happy for it.
Yeah, it's wonderful, ma'am. And there is any more that yes, now because you have been doing so many things at a time, and where you are creating time, you said. So you must be having certainly having some kind of goals, some short-term goals, some long-term goals. So now, what are
Yes.
your goals?
See, my short-term goals, I'll tell you, Aikata Public School. I'm the principal of that. It is a newly startup school. It started only in 2019, but by the time we could complete 1 year, the COVID had given us a great blast. And because we started somewhere very late in 2019, May we started, and we had around 89 students that time. It was a great number for a startup school. So we thought that we are going to be a record breaker in that area because the area where we stay is a school zone. You can find all kinds of school, international schools, CBSE school, IC schools, IB schools. You can find n number of schools in and around. You can at least name 27 schools. So in that area where we had started up and we have come to the number of 89 was what we thought that we have done something great. But then God said, no, no, don't act all those things. It's in my hand. And he just shut our mouth there. So by the time we could eliminate the finger on your lips from the students, we got the mute button saying that just shut up, sit down, do it with your online classes. And so the strength had drastically come down, and we have gone back one step. Then again, this year we are back on track, and we started up again with enthusiastic because always I believe that your effort can fail, but we shouldn't fail to make efforts. That is one thing that we have to remember always. So we started up again with all those things, and we have a lot of ideas which we had implemented. That's the reason why we are now in 300, 200 plus students. Just we were 40 last year, and now this year we are in 200 plus. Now again, we have come up again, and so we had done a lot of ideas. For example, if you see, we are coding. We are doing coding for the children, and one day I found that only in my house there was no lights. So when I called the security, he came and he switched on something and said, Madam, kuch nahi fuse tha. And I was feeling ashamed that a small thing that just to put that switch on, the fuse was gone. I didn't know what to do. So then I was thinking, what are we training our children? We are not able to do a small work of our household. So what we did is we have started in our school little knowledge on electrical work, plumbing work, carpentry work from grade two onwards. They will not be given the switchboards, but they will be given a training with dummy boards, how they have to collect and all those things. And also we had, I think in all of Bangalore, I can say, at least in our area, I can say, we have got something called no bag day. Wednesdays or no bag days. Children will not bring their school bags. It's only the lunch bag. So our teachers have to have the lesson plan in such a way that without their bags, the children and the teachers, they manage the whole school with the curriculum. It's not that they have fun. Academic should happen, but with this. So the planning, they should know how to plan. So that is one thing we have. And we have got something called Aikata's Talent Hunt, wherein every month we conduct an activity. The activity is just like what we do. We all did elocution competition, essay writing competition. So we'll find three teachers sitting and marking us. For what they are marking, we don't know. They give us a topic, we go recite. Then next day you will find three children getting prizes and others will not get. Those three will not know for what reason they got. Others will not know why the reason they didn't get. That's because what is the expectation of the teachers? We don't know. What they are grading, we don't know. Unless and until you know what is expected from you, you may not be able to give 100%. So what we do is every month we conduct an activity. And for the rubrics for that, we send it to the parents 1 week before. So, and we also tell them that on this basis, we are going to grade. And that rubrics will be given to one teacher, one peer, and from grade 4 onwards, self evaluation. Based on this, you tell me how you have performed. Based on this, your peer should tell me how you have performed. Based on this, your teacher should tell me. So, 360 degrees of assessment. Now, NEP has brought, we have done it in 2019 itself. So that one thing we do. And we have got tied up with the farmers. So right from starting of sowing the paddy, since harvesting, they will go in each stage and see it. And in 8th standard, next year we are going to have 8th. In 8th standard, we will be working with farmers for 10 days across the whole year, for which they'll be getting the internal marks. So because the students should know behind their every meal, the hard work of the farmers that needs to. So then only then you will not waste the food. Otherwise, they simply throw. They should know the hardship. They have to work with the farmers. They have to, while sowing, they have to go. While planting it, they have to go. While harvesting, they have to go. I don't say across every day they have to go, but in a year, at least 5 to 6 days in different stages, they have to go and see how they are doing. You have to get into the field and work. Then you know what is the hardship that farmers undergo, and the person who supplies food are still in poverty. Still, we have bags of rice at home. So these things children should have. So because this is sensitivity that children should have, the tolerance towards the poverty, they should know. Only then they will know to respect every field of work. So that we do it in this one. And we have PBL, wherein children work in the school, project-based learning. They take a theme, they work on it, and end of the year they present it to the parents. So these are the few things we are doing. And next year we are going to have a banking open for the children. So they should know the concept of saving. So whatever they get from their nana, nani, dada, dadi shouldn't go only in buying things. Saving should be inculcated. They should know the value of money. So we are going to open bankings for all the children, right from pre-KG to higher grades. And it's not only farmers we go, we also take up robotics. So it's not that we are going backward the technology. The technology is what end, but at the same time, you cannot eat nuts and bolts. You need rice. And that is also important. So we have to balance both. So these are the short-term goal is how we can bring it in a better way. That is my mind. And long-term goals, if you ask, I have two things to do. One is I wanted to run a training institute for the underprivileged teachers and students, free of cost. That is there. And the second one is I want to construct a unique play school wherein the children, as soon as they see I have the vision, the classroom should be in the shape of strawberry, mango, orange. So the children, when they see from outside, like how they run and go to the park and go to the theme parks, they should run and come to the school. So the curriculum also should be in such a way that they love coming. The classroom itself should look, the building itself should look. So that unique kind of play school I want to run, but I don't know whether this will happen. But these are my long term. Hope the Almighty gives the power to do it.
Yeah, surely, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, when we start the show, every time we say that it is a unique talk show. But I must say, today I learned so many unique things from you. Like you were just talking about the playful, unique playful. In fact, many of the concepts, many of the goals that you told, everywhere there was something unique in it. So it was full of uniqueness, full of learning, and full of inspiration. And with this, we come to the end of our interaction and, of course, to the end of our show. And thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing so many things with us. It was full of inspiration, I can say, to a lot of new techniques, that we could learn from it. Thank you very much for sharing your valuable time and knowledge with us. I also thank Ravi sir, because without him, this would show wouldn't have been possible. And of course, the team of IDYM that has been working behind the screen, Deemat ma'am, Daniel, and all the other creative team. Thank you, and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Raviji.